Sonic Force's music sucks, or at least that's what you've been led to believe. So yeah, Force's music doesn't suck. It's just very poorly instrumented. I feel like a lot of people believe that music is comprised of only two parts, beat composition and lyricism. And while these two elements are incredibly important, a third element is missing. You've probably guessed by now, but I'm talking about instrumentation. Not to mention that you can literally leave lyricism out entirely and still have a really good song. If your song has some very poor instrumentation, the song can either be ear-grating, annoying, or off-putting. Or it can cause the entire synergy of the song to be thrown off. Sonic Forces unfortunately does exactly this, and that isn't to say that these songs are bad. The compositions themselves are god tier in my personal opinion. For modern Sonic songs, the composers were going for an obviously fast approach to the instrumentation, with synths, pianos, guitars, and some banging drums. Sounds great, right? Unfortunately, the synth they chose is incredibly ear-grating, and it does not flow well with the rest of the song. Really doesn't help that every single modern Sonic song plays with these instruments. It ends up causing a lot of the songs to sound samey. Yes, that is a different song from the first one. Thanks for asking. The first one was Lost Valley, and the second was the exterior of Arsenal Pyramid, which, by the way, only plays for a measly 30 seconds in the game. The same goes for Network Terminal. As mentioned prior, most of them sound samey. Granted, not all of them do sound the same. Red Gate Bridge and the interior of Network Terminal go for extremely different styles. Red Gate Bridge actually sounds incredible and is arguably my favorite song in the entire soundtrack, and I do have to commend Network Terminal for just being at least a little bit unique with the jazz influence. Though I feel that only Red Gate Bridge uses the instrumentation to its best ability. Remixes of these songs rectify their failure and give us what really could have been, but I'll only play two briefly. don't really have a problem with the Avatar's songs, regardless of how much they don't fit the stages that they're in. But, you know, Nowhere to Run is my favorite. Gotta love that beat. So good. Ah yes, now to the meat and potatoes. I kept you waiting, didn't I? Classic Sonic's music gets the most criticism out of the entire soundtrack. Grating emulation of the Genesis instruments and drum samples that just don't change. It's especially sad after Generations and Mania just hit it out of the park with the classic Sonic music. Forces tries to emulate the style of the original Genesis tracks, to which it does decently well, but it's so hard to hear the actual good compositions behind the clutter and grinding of the instrumentation. The main culprit is probably Faded Hill. What Classic does have against Modern is that none of his songs feel samey. I could pick them out in seconds if I'd heard them enough. A wildly different song to Green Hill is Casino Forest. A bumpin' bass line, but unfortunately it doesn't have the aesthetic I feel like the original composers were going for. And it's even more different than Death Prison. Again, let's compare these to some remixes to see how they do just so much better with proper instrumentation. hope that I was able to teach you a little bit today. Clearly, instrumentation is just something that every artist should pay attention to. But this doesn't mean that you have to just stick with a set of instruments and call it good, because that just leads to supreme boredom. Get creative. Try something new. Charlie Puth in the viral clip from the Jimmy Fallon show that you've probably seen already demonstrates that it's possible to make an instrument from practically any sample. So just go out there and start making some cool songs. If you like my content, please make sure to subscribe and ring that little bell. I'm a small creator doing his best, so anything is appreciated. I also have another music video on the end screen right here to your left, and to the right is another video that YouTube says you may enjoy. So, thank you for watching, and you have a banger of a day.